They sold America a fairy tale, but built it like a rigged casino. At first glance, Sister Wives looked like a radical love experiment. 4 women, 1 man, all claiming equal hearts, equal sacrifice, equal reward. But watch closely, and the family doesn't move like a circle. It moves like a funnel. On the surface, viewers saw familiar drama, jealousy, tears, distance, marriages falling apart. That's the part you were meant to see. Underneath, a quieter pattern was forming,
done.
one wife
And I
drifting
think
closer to
Kody
the center, not through force, but through alignment. While Kody Brown talked about fairness, the system quietly rewrote itself around proximity, legality, and money. And without ever demanding power, Robyn Brown became the only one structurally protected, financially housed, legally married, emotionally prioritized. Here's the part no one likes to say out loud. This wasn't chaos. It was design. Because when shared money loses shared authority, when sacrifice isn't matched with security, the wives who give the most don't fall behind by accident. They're absorbed, depleted, and replaced. What you're about to see isn't just why marriages ended. It's how a system claiming equality quietly crowned a beneficiary, and left the others paying for it with their futures. The Brown family entered American living rooms with a radical idea. Plural marriage, they said, wasn't about favoritism. It was about equality. When Sister Wives premiered on TLC in 2010, Kody Brown famously declared, "Love should be multiplied, not divided." That line became both a mission statement and, years later, an indictment. At the start, the family presented unity. Meri Brown, the legal wife. Janelle Brown, the provider. Christine Brown, the caregiver. They shared finances, raised children communally, and claimed transparency. Then, in 2010, everything shifted. Enter Robyn Brown. If all wives are equal, why did the math stop adding up the moment Robyn arrived? Robyn joined the family as a divorced mother of 3, emotionally vulnerable, financially strained. On camera, the Browns framed her arrival as rescue and redemption. Behind the scenes, it required something else. Money. Early episodes quietly documented the family paying off Robyn's personal debts so she could qualify for a home. This wasn't rumor. It was acknowledged on-screen. Janelle, long established as the family's primary earner, explained that the family pooled resources to help Robyn start fresh. At the time, it sounded compassionate. But in retrospect, viewers noticed something unsettling. That level of financial intervention had never been shown for the other wives. Was this generosity, or the first sign of imbalance? For over 2 decades, Meri Brown held a unique position. She was the legal wife. That status mattered. Tax filings, insurance, inheritance, medical authority. Then, in 2014, a pivotal moment unfolded. Meri divorced Kody, legally, so he could marry Robyn and adopt her children. On camera, Meri insisted it was her idea. Legally, the move made sense. Emotionally, the consequences rippled outward. Once Robyn became the legal wife, she gained structural advantages the others never had again. Not symbolically, legally. Family law experts later noted that in plural families, legal marriage often determines asset protection and long-term security. The show never framed it that way. But the paperwork did. In a family that claimed equality, why did only one wife need legal protection? Nowhere was imbalance more visible than in housing. In Las Vegas, each wife had a comparable home. But in Flagstaff, Arizona, the pattern fractured. Robyn and Kody purchased a large, expensive home, citing the needs of her children. Christine rented, then struggled to build on Coyote Pass. Janelle lived in an RV. Later an apartment. Meri, with one child at home, maintained a large rental, often criticized by the family. The contrast became visual storytelling. Fans didn't miss it. Reddit threads began cataloging square footage, mortgage values, and timelines. One popular comment read, "Why does Robyn live like a monogamous wife while the others live like exes?" No one on the show answered that directly. When the money stops being shared, is plural marriage still plural? The pandemic didn't create fractures. It exposed them. Kody instituted strict COVID rules, presented as family-wide safety measures. But enforcement was uneven. Robyn's household followed the rules and saw Kody daily. Christine and Janelle's households did not, and were effectively cut off. On camera, Christine later stated, "I realized he wasn't coming back." Janelle openly questioned why Robyn's children required constant presence, while hers were expected to cope without him. Viewers noticed something else. Robyn consistently framed herself as confused, emotional, and victimized, even while benefiting from proximity and support. Was this about health, or hierarchy? Christine had long been the emotional center of the family. She raised children that weren't biologically hers. She hosted holidays. She absorbed neglect quietly, until she didn't. In 2021, Christine left. The reaction was revealing. Kody expressed anger, not grief. Robyn expressed shock, not reflection. Janelle followed, citing financial and emotional independence. Meri remained, but increasingly isolated. In retrospect, the exits followed a pattern. Those who sacrificed the most received the least security. Those who complied remained protected. Was Robyn surviving the system, or perfectly positioned within it? Online, the conversation exploded. YouTube breakdowns tracked episode callbacks, contradictory statements, financial timelines. Facebook groups debated intent. Reddit compiled receipts. A recurring theme emerged. Robyn rarely initiated decisions, but benefited from nearly all of them. Fans labeled it passive power, not domination. Alignment. By aligning with Kody's priorities, Robyn became the axis around which the family turned. Whether intentional or not, the outcome was the same. Can someone benefit from inequality without ever asking for it? Plural marriage relies on perception. Once the perception of fairness collapses, the structure follows. Christine's departure permanently altered public perception of polygamy. Janelle's independence challenged financial myths. Meri's isolation exposed emotional cost. Robyn remains legally married, housed, and present. The irony is unavoidable. In trying to legitimize plural marriage for mainstream audiences, sister wives may have documented its slow unraveling instead. What happens when a system built on equality proves it can't enforce it? Plural marriage often sells a comforting illusion that pooling resources means everyone is safer. But financial experts familiar with communal family structures point out a critical truth. Shared money only works when shared authority exists. In the Brown family, income sources diversified over time. Reality TV salaries, social media branding, independent businesses. Yet decision-making power did not diversify. Multiple former wives later hinted that financial transparency declined as the family grew more fragmented. Janelle once stated on camera that she was uncomfortable with how money conversations stopped happening openly. That silence mattered, because when income becomes individualized, but expenses remain collective, inequality doesn't announce itself. It accumulates. Quietly. Was the family still one unit, or just four separate households funding one center? Throughout the series, one visual pattern repeated itself. Robyn cried, often, on couches, in interviews, during confrontations she didn't initiate. To some viewers, the tears symbolized empathy. To others, something else entirely. Media psychologists have noted that repeated emotional displays, especially in group conflict, can unintentionally shift accountability. Not by manipulation, but by reframing focus. While Christine expressed anger, while Janelle asked practical questions, while Meri withdrew, Robyn expressed pain. And pain tends to pause confrontation. The result? Conflicts slowed around her. Decisions bent toward preserving her emotional safety. In group dynamics, who gets protected first? The loudest voice, or the most fragile one? Reality television is shaped as much by absence as by presence. Fans rewatching earlier seasons noticed something unsettling in hindsight. Major family decisions increasingly happened off-camera. Moves were announced, not debated. Rules were presented, not discussed. This shift coincided with Robyn becoming the legal wife. Producers never confirmed editorial reasons. But media historians point out that when families fracture, shows often avoid filming conflict resolution, because it no longer exists. What remains is aftermath. And aftermath favors those already positioned at the center. If fairness disappears off-screen, does it still exist on-screen? One of the most debated questions among fans is intent. Did Robyn plan to benefit more? There is no verified evidence she did. But sociologists stress something important. Intent does not outweigh outcome. A system can privilege someone even if they never ask for it. Especially when they are legally recognized, emotionally prioritized, physically present. Robyn didn't need to take power. Power arrived through proximity, through alignment, through remaining when others left. Is survival the same thing as winning? Sister Wives was never just entertainment. It was cultural proof of concept. An attempt to normalize plural marriage in mainstream America. Instead, it documented emotional burnout, unequal labor, legal imbalance, silent favoritism. After Christine's departure, public sentiment shifted dramatically. Online polls showed overwhelming support for her decision. Not because she failed at plural marriage, but because plural marriage failed her. The show's legacy may not be advocacy. It may be cautionary documentation. What if this wasn't a love story, but a case study? Robyn Brown stands today where the family once stood together. Legally married, emotionally centered, structurally secure. The other wives stand elsewhere, independently rebuilding. The difference between them isn't morality. It's positioning. And the story of Sister Wives ultimately asks a question bigger than any one woman. Can equality survive without enforcement? Because in the absence of balance, someone always benefits, and someone always pays. If you want to be part of breaking down how this family actually unraveled, Follow the receipts, not the excuses. Like this video to support the investigation. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Comment if you saw the pattern before the exits. And watch the playlist linked here, because the evidence doesn't live in one episode. This isn't gossip. It's a paper trail.